Welcome back to Unraveled Game Thoughts. And it's been maybe a week or so since I was able to get something to the table and record it. I thought I would do something quick this afternoon, just to share some things that I have been pondering. One is, what are the most underrated games? So I went through probably, maybe somewhere between 15 and 20,000 games on BGG. So when I say go through, I'm kind of scrolling down the screen, looking at the rating for a game and trying to determine, basically have them organized by their rating in BGG, and really I looked through everything from the beginning, but also pondering everything that was particularly outside the, I want to say anything outside the 100, but like even I was really particularly curious about what would be outside the 1,000 ranking range that I just thought was underappreciated, or I'm surprised it's ranked so low than them, whether they're unknown or for whatever reason. So I put together a short list of games that I thought were my favorites for ranked way lower than they should be. So I'll talk about that, but before I start, I was going to demonstrate this lovely game here, Forest Shuffle. This is not, if it's out in physical form, it is not hugely available. I think I've seen it for sale, but I haven't sorry about that, buddy. I want to do a two-player game. I've seen it, I've been playing it mostly on BGA. And so you'll see here, you have, this is kind of like, I compared it to somebody the other day, calling it like, it's kind of like Earth meets Arc Nova or Wingspan. It's like Earth meets Wingspan. So you have this field out here, and this is where cards are placed whenever you pay cards from your hand to play them out here, and whenever you pay the cards, they go out into this general field area here. So on your turn, you can either play a card or you take cards. So I'm just going to grab those two cards, and I'm not really heavily focusing on my strategy much this game. I'm just kind of demonstrating to some degree how to play the game. So I want to play this bat, and it's going to take a yellow card. Well, it doesn't take, I have to pay one card up in the top left corner of the bat. You'll see a card, and I got to have a tree to play it on. So I'm just going to pick that card. It doesn't have to be a yellow card, but in this case it was, and play it. And now I have a bat in this tree, and if I get at least 3 different bats, those are going to be worth more points to me. Do I have another bat? I have this bat here, so I may try to play this bat as well, depending on what he puts out in the field, or she, because I don't know who this is. So you have to have trees on which to put the animals that you're playing, and I'm going to go ahead and get this rabbit here, because sometimes those are good and you can place a bunch of them down, and that could give me an extra turn when I play that tree. So I'm going to get both of those on my turn, and your hand size is 10. You can't go over 10, and different cards will do different things. Like this is just a point card, that bat I played. This tree just gives me a card whenever I play it, and it's worth 1 point, but it is not many points as trees go. Now if I want to play this tree and I want to get the bonus, I do have to discard 2 cards that have the same color as it, and I do not have that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to play this bat, because I'd really like to get 2 cards that are the same color to get this bonus action, and where the little binoculars are indicates that if I discard 2 cards of that color to pay for this tree, then I will get a bonus action of an extra turn, which is not bad. But sadly, I am not seeing any options for that. Now this one might be, I might use that later, and there's my 3rd bat, so I'll go ahead and get those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 in my hand. So the most I could do is take 2 more cards before I've got to have to play something. And I'm going to go ahead and see if maybe I'll get lucky and get the color card I want. If I don't, that's okay. I have some other options that I will utilize. Like, I want to play this salamander, but I need another tree so I can play it to the side, because this tree can only take something underneath and something on top. And then it's a full tree. I can't put anything else there. The only option for other trees, that the only time you put more is if you play something like this European hare, where you can play as many as you want in a given area. So I really need to get a tree out there, and if I get 4 beaches, I get that. I don't really like playing that guy anymore. I'm going to go with this one, and I'm going to drop that card out in the field. I do like the bears as well. They tend to be handy. I can place all cards from my clearing into my cave, and I have 1 of that kind of card. You know, I think I'm going to go with the salamander, because I can play it here, and because I'm playing it with the same color card, I can play a paw symbol for free, and I'm going to go ahead and put that guy there on that tree, so I have a place for rabbits. I may even try to grab that rabbit again in case I have the opportunity to play it, because now I have room in my hand for more cards. And if I can get a bunch of European hares, they stack, and there's another animal that will give me points for each hare that I have. I don't see him out. I believe it's a fox, but we will see. And I'd like to, I mean, I wouldn't mind playing this tree, and if I get a couple of these cards, I can potentially get an extra turn with that. And I'm going to need more trees. So usually in this game, you probably end up with about anywhere between, I'd say, 5 and 10 to 12 trees. The trees will give you points for, depending on the kind of tree. Like this one is the number of chestnut trees, horse chestnuts I have in my sanctuary at the end will give me a number of points. And probably the great thing about playing it on BGA is all of these points are just kind of added up in the moment. I've got a 58 score on this game, and this guy's got a 127. I've not really done very well when I've played this game. I've probably played it about 10 times so far, and I really enjoy it, but I'm not terribly great at it. I think I've definitely seen scores several times of like in the 250 range, and it was only just recently I learned the because sometimes I'll get on BGA and I'll just start playing a game, and I'll just go, okay, I know how to play, I'm not holding up the game. And this is one of those where I played it 5-6 times, and I was like, you know, somehow people are scoring points more or getting bonuses, and I don't know how they're doing it. And I figured out it was because when they had the little binoculars on the bottom, if you pay for the card with those same color cards, you end up getting a bonus action, and I was not getting those bonus actions unless I was just randomly picking the cards from my hand, which is what I was doing. So I have maybe the last 2 to 3 games spent a little bit more time trying to get those bonus actions, and generally doing better at it. Oh, this fella's running out of time. Oh, there he goes. I'm gonna grab this bear because I like the bears, and I'm gonna grab this rabbit. And I want to play this bat, but I think I kind of want to do this tree first. And the bear is not unhelpful. And to play the bear, I really want 3 cards of the same dark green color for the bear, because he will give me a card and an extra turn, which is absolutely fantastic. And oh, I am not well, actually it's not gonna hurt, so I'm gonna, we don't want to do that. We want to play the bear, so we're gonna do boom, boom, boom. Oh, we don't have a place to play the bear. Durr. Well, shoot. I'm going to take this card. I hate taking 1 card, but if I'm going to get the extra turn with the tree, I need the card. And it doesn't hurt to give him an opportunity to get some cards out there for me, because that will help me. So we're going to do that. And that's going to give me an extra turn. And now that I have a tree, I can actually play the bear. And I should get to draw a card. All those cards go under the bear, giving me points. And I get another turn. And I'm just going to draw cards here. So that was not too bad. I liked it. Got a horse chestnut. I could go after those horse chestnuts and just get points with those trees and then kind of leave the other trees. So I don't necessarily want to chase after those lindens. Sometimes it helps to get cards on the bottom, particularly if mushrooms come out. Mushrooms are really good for drawing cards later in the game. But I do want to get this bat out. And you'll see my points go up here a decent amount, because with that bat, that was my 3rd different kind of bat. So now all these bats are each worth 5 points apiece. So that just bumped me 15 points because I have 3 different kinds of bat. And pretty much every bat I play at this point is going to be worth more points from that standpoint. I don't really like the options here. So I'm just going to grab from the deck. There's a mushroom. That's kind of nice. I don't dislike that. Probably going to get more cards from the deck, depending on what he picks out, because I'm going to need more trees, and I kind of want to play a rabbit so that I have multiple areas to play a rabbit, because they can stack up, and if I get a fox, I definitely want to utilize the fox. This is not bad. This is worth another 5 points for me. But we'll see. So right now I have 1 rabbit. I really need to stack up the rabbits just to collect the cards and then go from there. And I might even get this. Play a card with a paw symbol, receive 1 card. Yeah, if I'm playing rabbits, this is a really good card to have. So I may snag and get rid of like those 2 in order to do that. So I don't need those. Well, I could grab more of these trees, because when I put trees down, that is kind of the tree that is a good one to put down. So maybe I'll grab some more cards before I end up playing that mushroom. And then I'll use the rabbits to draw cards, because every time I play a paw, I'll get to draw a card, and rabbits will be worth a point plus a paw. Plus the rabbits are worth 1 point per European hare. which means they stack up every time. 1 is worth 1, 2 is worth 2 a piece, 2 is worth 4. Yeah, those points are going to stack up pretty good. Yep, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to grab this, and let's see what we get. It was a sycamore. Like sycamore. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead. You know what? Let me get some trees out there. Let me pop some trees out there. Oh. Why'd that do that? Oh, because I only need 1 card. Alright, that's fine. Play that. And every time you play a tree, it feeds a card into the field from the deck. So that can also put more things out there that you might end up utilizing. I'm going to go ahead and play that tree. Just going to get another card out there. And let's see. So the way the game ends, you might be wondering that. You see there's 79 cards left in the deck. Anytime this field area gets 10 cards in it, at the end of the turn, all the cards go to a discard pile. Earlier, when I played my bear, and I don't know if it got up to 10 or not, but the bear, when you play it, he takes all the cards and puts them in my cave, which I guess that's just somewhere off to the side. I don't really have a physical cave that I'm working with here. But that is... there are, in the bottom third of this deck, 3 winter cards. They don't, when you draw them, you're just going to draw another one after you, to replace it. But when the third of those winter cards comes out, it is immediately the end of the game. And on BGA, like right now, we have 0 of 3 winter cards drawn so far. So when that third one, when the first one will come out, the second will come out, but then it'll say when the last winter card is drawn, the game will be over. And there's no finish the round or anything like that. It's just immediate game over. So you've got a very urgent or quick end of game once it comes down to that. Alright, so let me talk through what I'm doing here. So I played this mushroom, and whenever I play a card with a paw symbol, I receive a card. Well, that puts me in a position that pretty much anytime a rabbit comes out here, because my rabbits are going to multiply points for me really well, I want to play it. So I'm going to go ahead and play this rabbit. They cost 0 to play. That's going to give me a card. And so I'm going to feed myself cards with my rabbits whenever I get rabbits. I also would like to get a wolf so that I can potentially grab some more points. I think the wolf will give me 1 point for every European hare I have, and like right now I have 2. So the more hares I get, the more points I get, and if I grab a wolf and play that, then I'll get even more. So yes, I'm probably pronouncing wolf wrong because my family makes fun of me that I say woof and not wolf. One of those weird words that does not come out of my mouth the right way. What else about this game? It's just, I find it very satisfying. It's, you know, and part of it, I think, on BGA that works real well is that the points are kind of done for me, which is very nice. It usually goes faster than this. The person I'm playing now is taking a little bit longer than what is typical, but you know, I know there's a lot to read, and if this is one of their earlier or first games, they might be just trying to calculate all their point values. And I may just grab other paw things if I can, because there's a roe deer, and that would probably go well with one of these others. So yeah, I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna take that. Unfortunately, yep, there's a roe deer. I could play that first and then play that. That would work. If I use 2 of those cards to pay for it, then I will get a bonus card. but I don't have any of those cards. That's no fun. Let's grab this and this. Bats are worth points for me. So that gives me points if a bat's in the tree with it. But that would be 2 bats. Okay. Well, we'll just do it this way. And I'll put a roe deer there. That's going to give me... Oh, it's not a paw. It's not a paw card. The mushroom gives me a paw card. But this one does not, because it is a deer card. But the roe deer will actually make a lynx worth 10 points. So I'll shoot for the 10 points because it is worthwhile. I could even play this guy. And if I use that and that to pay for it, that would not hurt. But let's get this lynx because he's worth points to me and see what else we can draw. All right. So it looks like if we play this guy, and we only have to pay 1 card, so I'll probably play this one because I don't really need more deer, then that will give us an extra paw that we can play without having to pay for it. But it will also let me draw an extra card. So I'm not sure if all bonuses are not triggered. Play a card with a paw symbol for free. You can't use its effect or bonus. But it would be the effect if I play one of these lynxes for free, they don't have an effect or bonus. So it's not going to matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that, and we're going to put this guy here, play card, and that should let us play a paw for free. So we'll do that, and that should let us draw a card. So that's a 2-for-1 there. Whenever you play a card with tree, you draw a card. That's not bad. That would let me draw cards, and I do like that. That one doesn't help me. So, yeah, let's play that one, and we don't need deer. Oh, I gotta pick a place to play it. That will just give us a little card drawing energy, which is not bad. Let's do that. And what is next? Well, we don't have a lot of cards. Paws and trees will get us cards. This will get us an extra turn, but the lynx is probably better played on my forest for me because it gives me points. So I sure enough am going to play that there. And that'll give me, I believe, a drawn card. Yeah. What does the wolf do? 1 for every deer. If I play it with that, then I get an extra turn and 5 points per deer. But I'm not really playing deer. Now I think is a good time to just kind of focus on what is going to just help me generate what I need, because we still haven't drawn a single winner card, but if I start doing things that help me draw cards, that's going to make this game speed up just a good bit. Don't need it, but the butterflies I might end up using if it feels like I'm not getting the rabbits I want, which is what I really want, is the rabbits to feed other things. And I'm probably going to need more trees, but I'd really like to get more of these horse chestnuts. That would be ideal. There are 11 in the game. We've got 3. Still didn't get a doohickey, so let's take a card. Take a card. See what we get. Even another mushroom would be not bad. Place any number of cards from your hand in your cave. Draw an equal number of cards from the deck. That's a pretty good card. I'd like to get a horse chestnut out before doing that. But this is a good butterfly type, so I'm just going to take those, see what I get. I probably won't do the horse chestnut, but I may just go ahead and play these butterflies. I prefer to have a mushroom that gives me an extra card for putting something on top of a tree, but with no winter cards out yet, and we're really just trying to, at least I am just trying to get through this game. I think I've done a reasonable job of describing it thus far. You probably noticed, if you're watching the screen, that the animal cards are divided one on top, one on bottom, or they are one on left side, one on right side, and they tend to kind of follow patterns of type of animal, so birds and butterflies on top, and other things are usually in a different section. Birds and butterflies, we got bats and deer and wolves and basically larger animals left and right, and then of course the trees take up the whole card. Not winning on this on these points here, and I apologize, the message from a friend. So the butterflies will help me a little bit, and I'm really just playing those because I can stack them up for points. But I really am wanting these hares, and I really kind of want another horseshoe chestnut to play, so I'm kind of making room in my hand so that I can potentially get the cards that I really want. And as long as we don't have a single winner card out yet, I'm still in good shape. So, but any minute now, we're going to be drawing one, and that's going to be it. So I'm going to play a rabbit, and it's one of the few cards that you can play on top of one that's already there. So it's a great way to get some extra points, and those rabbits will stack up, which is why I want them. I wonder how many there are. Let's see, instances. There's 11 instances of the European hare. Well, is he playing European hares at all? There's none on his forest. It's going a different route. And I'm not paying a lot of attention to my opponent's forest because I'm not big on hate drafting. I know that, if I get real competitive in a game or play something for a long time with a particular opponent and we're really competitive, I might be more inclined to do that, but in general, that is not my MO to hate draft. So let's do this. So just to go into more detail about the butterflies, so for each different set of butterflies, you're going to get points for that set. So right now, with these 3 butterflies, it's only 6 points. It's not that much. But now that I'm placing this 4th butterfly of a different type, now the butterfly set is worth 12 points, which is not too bad. And I'm really just giving him time to hopefully put some stuff out there I really want. I really want those horseshoe chestnuts. He hasn't played any more, so that is kind of what I'm shooting for. But now we're at a place where I'm going to grab these cards because at worst, these will give me another card when I play them. And right now, that's what I want is cards. Just want the cards so that I can get these rabbits and stack up some points. I think that will compound my points quite a bit, getting the rabbits. But man, they are slow to come out. Very slow. We got some frogs. Oh, we got a ton of cards there. Oh man, that one winner card has come out now. So he is stacking up the points, and I'm gonna have to get a tree out there in order to do this. And he's probably got some mushrooms giving him cards or something. Something allowed him to draw cards. Maybe it was just a good bonus. No tree out there. So let's do this. Let's play that card. Lets me draw a card. That's semi-handy. Still didn't give me the card I wanted. There's a bat. But I have a play here I'm going to do that is going to give me a ton of cards. And hopefully cards that I can actually use. We'll see what happens. See if any of these plants are going to be useful. If we have 8 tree species, we're not. For each card below a tree, that's not bad. That's actually a decent amount of points. Still no horseshoes. Well, now this is filled, so as soon as his turn is over, this is going to all disappear to the discard pile. And there'll be nothing out here, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and do this number, and I'll pay for it with that. And play card. And none of these are terribly useful except for that one. So I will send them to cave. And that'll give me some points. And let's see what we got. This is the one I wanted. 1 per hair. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of hairs. So we're just going to have to see how many turns we get. Still at 1 of 3. We're down to 27 cards. I think this game is probably his at this point. I am going to play this hare, though. That's going to stack up my rabbit points a good bit. I think that's helpful. Let's see. I could do that. That'd give me a few points. What does this do? Receive a tree card. Ooh, there's a horse chestnut. We'll take that, and that gives it his turn. I will definitely play that because that will increase my points. And I got 2 of these, so I really need to play these twice in a row. Don't need these butterflies. Probably don't need the turtle. Yeah. I think these horse chestnuts are going to be the best bet I have. Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to get me up to 25 points. So it's not bad. Let's play that. And gets me a card. Oh, gets me a hare. Definitely got to play that. Yeah, if I can get another butterfly. Oh, see, that would be not bad. Let me play that there. That's going to get me a card. I could play another paw card. Let's go for this horse chestnut, and we'll play it with that. Oh, he took that butterfly. That was the different one that I did not have, unfortunately. That's per bug if on an oak. That's not an oak, that's a birch. $3 per bird. $3. 3 acorns per bird. That's not going to help. So right now, I kind of think this guy is maybe my best bet. I'm going to play him there. Ooh. Oh, because I need 2 cards. Play card. And we'll draw cards. 1 winter card. There's only 8 left in the deck, so yep, we are not. I have a bear. I could get lucky. can I do? 1, 2. Oh, I don't have quite enough. Well, let's see. Let me see. Can I play this bear? Do I have yellows? 1, 2. I only got 2 of each. This guy, well, he can put all the cards in my hand. That's not bad. This guy multiplies all of my hairs. So this guy would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the hair would be, how many do I have? 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5, 25. Let's do that. Yeah, that was a huge point gain. Well, I didn't think I was going to get to play another card. 1, 2, no, that's not going to help. And I still don't have a yellow, but this makes those worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That goes from 25 to 11. That's not bad. Although I think this is the better play. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to... Oh, I didn't even get to put things in my deal. It literally ends right away. 174 to 202. Not bad. But that is Forest Shuffle. So let's go on to Board Game Geek here. Board Game Geek, yep, and do that. And let's look at some games. Browse all board games. And I'm not sure how much I'll look at that, but let's shrink that down. Oh no, you can see my screen. Let's see, and let's shrink this down. And we'll do this number here. This might be easier so you can see all the things. Whoops. What I wanted was not this. What I wanted was this. Alright. Okay. So let's start with top games. Now what I did here is I kind of gathered all these games that I felt like had much lower rankings. Obviously, number 1 would be, you know, Brass Birmingham, going on from there. So as you can see, I have several in the thousands here. And this is just my opinion on games that I thought, man, even if it's not like the best game ever, I think they're underrated for what they are. And I think there are other games, probably even in similar categories, that are probably ranked higher, and these are awfully low. So, starting with number 1 here, Happy Little Dinosaurs. I put this one at the top of the list because it had a ranking of 5,024. And this is a game that we own, and it's basically like a race. You are playing, you're gonna have a hand of cards, and they're gonna rotate around quite a bit. See if I can look at some pictures here. And you get cards. This is a good example of, these are some of the instant cards, but they're gonna have numbers, and some cards will have numbers, some cards will have these little instants where they'll invert the score. If you think something like Exploding Kittens or something like that, those are the kind of, like, this is the kind of game this is to some degree. Unstable Unicorns, Exploding Kittens, something like that. It's in that vein. These are cards of 0, 1, all the way up to 9. You're basically, everybody's playing a card, and sometimes that card triggers more cards to come out, and different things can happen. But at the end, somebody gets a disaster card, generally. And that goes to your area, and once you have 3 different disasters, or 3 of the same, something like that. I think it's 5 different disasters or 3 of the same disaster, something like that. You're out of the game. And the catch with that, and what I think makes this game better than it is when you have disasters in your area, every time you lose you don't win, because if you're playing with 3 to 5, 6 players, somebody wins and somebody's getting the disaster, but you have one winner and a bunch of people that don't win that round, that suit, you might say. Or it's I guess like a trick. It's almost like a trick. But if you lose the trick, you get the disaster. If you win the trick, you get the points. So let's say I played this 9 card, and let's say I won the trick with 9 points. Then I would get to move on this track that goes from 0 to 50, 9 spaces. Everybody else gets to move the number of spaces equal to the number of disasters they have in your area. So if you collect 3 or 4 disasters, and you can then mitigate disasters the rest of the game, you don't have to win a whole lot to get points every round. You can actually not win. As long as you don't get that 5th disaster and lose, you can still get 4 points every turn, which can be a functional way to move up that track to get up 50, because it's either you're the last person standing and you win, or you get all the way up to the 50 and to the top of the thing and you win that way. So that's why it's kind of like a race. But it's not a bad game. It's not my first to pull out. It's probably not one that I play, on game days with friends as much. But at 5,024, it's better than that. Number 2. This is a recent addition to my collection, Archaeos Society. So if you're familiar with Ethnos, then Archaeos Society is a lot like Ethnos. Now, Ethnos was more area control. Archaeos Society has several tracks, and this one is ranked 282, whereas Archaeos Society is 4,462, and they are they're so similar. Same creator for both. The similarities, the differences are simply that in Ethnos, the cards and the tricks are kind of like you're playing your adventures. They are going to do basically the same thing, except you're placing a token in an area you're trying to control on a main board. Whereas in Archaeos Society, there are tracks that align with the different colors, and each track can give you some kind of different ability. One side is a pretty simple, you move up that track to get points, and the other side is more complex in that you might get some other bonus more so than just points. But they all are different, and there's a lot of variability built into it, and it's a pretty easy, once you grok kind of how the game plays, it's not that hard to teach, it's not that hard to play, and when you're playing your sets of cards, then the amount of cards you play in your set is also scoring you points at the end of each season. Or not, is it each season? No, it's the end of each season, because you play over the either 2 seasons or 3 seasons. They might be called rounds or something else, but you're at the end of each one, you're going to score your sets. So if you have a whole bunch of 1, 2, 3, 4s, you're not going to score as many points as somebody who took the time to try to get the full sets. The problem is when you work on those full sets, you're also not moving as far down on the track. So there's some strategy to be played with there. Do I want to focus on moving on these tracks, or do I want to focus on getting sets into play that are going to score me points? So I haven't played it enough to really know how good that strategy is, but it's a good game. It's better than 4,462. Fief, 3693. This is a I just think this is I was surprised that this one was ranked so low. It's an abstract strategy game. You have these like surfboard, I guess they're called fiefs looking things, and it's one of those similar to, say, what is that, Patchwork, or what's the cat one? The cat one with the cat and the quilt, and you're doing all the little patterns on there. I cannot remember the name of it, but this is similar to that. Very similar. But this one's easier, and I feel like the pieces are a little bit more tactily pleasant. I was really surprised it was in the 3,700 range. I would have ranked this much higher for sure, and I think there are other abstract strategy games that are not nearly as enjoyable as this one. So that was a good one. Another game that I recently, if you watch my last video, Apex Theropod was one that I recently did a solo view of, and you could easily see that on my channel. It was the last one I posted, and I actually have the collector's edition of this game. But don't get me wrong, it's not my favorite dinosaur game. It is not my favorite deck building game, but it has good art and it's fun to play. And I'm surprised that so many games are so far ahead of it. I feel like it probably would be better in the, I'd say in the 15 to 1800 range is maybe what I felt like it would be, but somehow it's here at 34.29. Might be because people have given up on it, or it was expensive or hard to get. And sometimes I think when things are hard to get and expensive and they're not as good as you want them to be, people might rank them a little lower. So I think that's a possibility. This is a good game. All right, this one I almost put higher on my list. I have it here as the 5th most underrated game, but Masters of the Night. Now, one thing I will say is, one, this is a hard game. Masters of the Night. Let's get that up here. This is, I think, by Ares Games. I would argue that it is much better if you have the Dark City expansion. However, even without the Dark City expansion, I still think 4,781 is a pretty low ranking. I would probably argue with Dark City, I'd say this should be at least in the 2,000 range. But it's fairly easy to set up. It's hard to play. It's pretty crunchy. There's a lot of good decisions. Co-op game. You're a family of vampires, and each vampire has their own special ability, and you have to go around and you have to try to take over the city by basically establishing your feeding ground. So pretty dark, kind of. I think a lot of people would like that theme, and it's pretty hard to play. And these tiles that you see the characters on in the picture here, they can be rearranged in various ways. 2 of them, I think, start in the same place every time, but then after that, all the rest can be randomly placed. So it makes it a little harder, a little easier. But if you have the expansion, there's a couple of extra things in there that make it, I think, give it a little more juice. And I would say with the expansion, it probably should be in the 1,000 range, maybe even higher than that, in the hundreds. So underrated game. Foodies, another game ranked very closer to Masters of the Night, 47.89, and I just thought this game, again, this is not the greatest game ever. Came out in 2019 by Ken Gruhl and Marco Portugal, but I thought this was a fun game. I played it with my son. We'll probably play it with my family. 6.5. That's probably not an off ranking. I just think that's, man, 47.89. It's got a neat little thing where each of the cards has, they have like holes in them so you can see the value underneath it. So where it says 4, 3, 2 here, that's a little hole in this card, and when you slide them around or move them on your board, you can see it gives you those values or those bonuses underneath. That's so you can see the number that is rolled from the dice. But it's kind of a nifty little, again, kind of a little racing game. I wouldn't say it's much more complex than Happy Little Dinosaurs. It's probably in that ballpark as far as weight goes, maybe a little more weighty, but I thought it was neat. I liked it. I'd play it again. This might be one that down the road, after we played it several times, we traded away, but I also see this being one of those games I think my family would love. Let's play Foodies again. Like, it's just not hard, and it's got a nice little puzzly sort of aspect to it. Valbara, definitely ranked too low. In a nutshell, This is Libertalia Winds of the Galecrest Light. But the difference is not everybody starts with the exact same hand of cards as they do in Libertalia. Everybody's got the same deck of 12 cards. I think it's 12, but you don't know which ones you're going to draw. So every game's a little different. Very simple, small box. I love that it comes in such a small box. You probably can't tell from this picture how small that really is, but that is, and I don't have it here in my office, but man, this is, you know, we've traveled with it. It's great. Fantastic game. Definitely better than $26.99. Should be in the, I don't know, 400, 500, 600 maybe. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Another one here, Art Deco 3786. I've been playing this on BGA. I actually just traded somebody and got this game. Kind of a nifty little market game, I guess you would say, where you're trying to you're buying cards, kind of similar to Dominion or something, where you're buying cards, you're building a deck. Some of the cards you buy are art, some are just straight up money, but art is also worth money. At the end of the game, you're scoring points during the game for putting your art on display, and the sooner you put it on display, the more points you get. But at the end of the game, when the game ends, you get points for the art in your deck, and when you put art on display, it increases the value of the art that is in your deck. So as you're going through the game trying to buy and sell the art, there's this tension between trying to figure out, okay, what are the value of this art? Is it better to put something on display to increase its value, but how many of those do I have in my deck? So there's a lot of nifty interactions economically in this game that I think are great. Art Deco, I think, is definitely underrated at $37.86. I think it's a fantastic little game. Nanga Parbat, $33.86. Nanga Parbat is not the best two-player game, but it's better than $33.86. It's got some really cool little meeples. It's got a nice, pretty board. Each animal has a special ability, and you are trying to gain points on this track over here based on sets and collections. It's kind of like a set collecting meeple placement sort of game. But it's a nifty little game. It's small box, probably about as big as Valbara, and travels well and is enjoyable. So $33.86. I think there are, I think this one may even play a little smoother than something like, say, Beer and Bread, which probably is ranked higher. But I would not say it is as I don't even know if that one's quite as smooth. Yeah, this one's ranked 1103. I would say Nanga Parbat. It's hard to say. I don't know if I'd say which one is better than the other. I'd have to play them both significantly to be able to do that. But I feel like that one is ranked much lower than it should be. I'd say Beer and Bread might be in the ballpark of where I think Nanga Parbat maybe should be ranked, possibly a little bit lower, maybe 1400. But $33.86, man, that's a long ways down. Megaland, my number 10, $24.72. If you are looking for light games to get your family or get your kids to engage in gaming, Megaland is fantastic. This game replaced the combination of Machikoro and Diamante. I think we still have Diamante, but we don't have Machikoro. But I played those games, but didn't like them that much. Megaland is a better version of all that combined, and it's by Ryan Lockett. So this is the guy who did Above and Below, all that, and it's just a fantastic, light, easy game to play. As far as games go, that would get a younger person involved in gaming, and that's not to say it couldn't be fun for adults playing it. I mean, I played it at a board game night here in Denton, so it can be and is fun for adults just as well, but it is lighter, and this is one of those games that you could use to get your kids into gaming if you're trying to get them in on gaming. War of the Ring, the card game. I was really shocked that this was 1061. Now, I will say that I want more cards. I want more cards. And it's now 1009. So it might be that it's not been out long enough. Not enough people have played it. I am not super excited that the expansion coming is a co-op and a something else. Like it's a co-op and it's like some other aspect adds a, I don't think it adds a player, but I would much rather just have more cards in the base decks. Like I think there's one dwarf, maybe two in the Free People's deck or one of the Free People's decks, and I would love to see there be another, some like more dwarves that can interact with that deck, or some dwarven things that would interact with the dwarves that are there. So I'd like to see more cards in the decks that are there. I think that would be pretty fun. But that might be down the road. I still think this is underrated at 1061. But people are still learning it. People are still playing it. But as a Lord of the Rings fan, I'm not a huge fan of War of the Ring, the game, although that's just not my type of game. So as much as I like Lord of the Rings, that one just doesn't sit with me. But this one, I really like this one. I like the thematics of it. I think it's fantastic. Ready, Set, Bet. I cannot believe this is 845. This has got to be one of the best party games out there. It's 825 now, so it's gone up 20 points since I last looked at it. But 2 to 9 players, fast-paced, real-time, placing bets. You could do it with the app, but I love calling the games. I love calling the races. It's so much fun. Some of my family members like me calling the races. Ready, Set, Bet is this. I would predict that this, if it doesn't make the top 100 because it's kind of a party game, it should be in the top like 300 to 400 games easily. Like this is about twice as low as it should be. So, good game. Number 13, Tabanisi, Builders of Ur. This is it's a Euro game, but I think this is a better Euro game than some of the other T games. A little bit more engaging, a little bit more good table presence, nifty little strategy. So I think it's a good one. Tabanisi is a little bit underrated, I think, at $16.99, and I wonder if maybe give it 5 to 10 years if it ends up down the road being closer to 800 or something like that. And I got to wrap it up here, so I'm going to give it a couple more games that I thought were underrated. Renature at 14, nice little kind of a domino sort of area control game that was just cute and fun, and I don't see trading that away because it has a unique presence that I think is fun to get out, and I don't know that there's a lot of games like it. Founders of Gloomhaven at $10.98, which actually maybe that's in the range of where it should be, but I think it's a much better game than people give it credit for. I still think there's a number of people who thought it's going to be more like Gloomhaven in some way, and it's more of a tile-laying, trickle-down economy of points game. It's fun, and it does have a unique point system that's a little different than other games, and I traded it away because I couldn't get people to play it, but I wouldn't mind having it again because I feel like nobody ever has this game, and nobody brings it out to play, and I would like to bring it out to play. Halls of Hegra, did a video on this not long ago. Probably just hasn't been out long enough. $56.97, way low for that. And I'm going to say Coffee Traders. I'm skipping a couple. I think they're low, but Coffee Traders at $11.77. I think is way lower and probably underappreciated and plays a little funky, and I think that's why people struggle with it maybe and rank it a little lower, but I think it's a fantastic game. Challengers at $13.28. Man, that's better. That's better than $13.28. I was really shocked and surprised at this game. I thought it was fantastic. And one random one. I'll just go skip to... Oh, I'm going to go this one. This is my random call out of a game that I bet no one's heard of. The Testimony of Jacob Hollow at 17,216. If you like Arkham Horror, if you like Marvel Champions, if you like those card games where you're... And this is not a co-op. So imagine if Arkham Horror or Lord of the Rings was not a co-op, and instead of doing the expelling these your mind and life points to solve riddles or puzzles or clues or defeat other creatures on the board, if it was just against other players, and you were trying to drive other players crazy to knock them out of the game, the Testimony of Jacob Hollow might be one that you would find very fun to play. Probably hard to find, but it is I think a pretty fun game up to 6 players, and it's almost like a battle royale with a small deck of cards. If you do get the game, you do need some 10-sided dice to go with the game. Doesn't come with all of that, but it's still, I think, a better game than people would give it credit for. And I'll let others look that up. For now, I'm going to call it a day. Until next time, thank you for watching Unraveled Game Thoughts.